Hey Chomi. Kemete batho batla hosting space more. Now I'm just holding the space so that it doesn't crash because I can load shedding. Hi Abuti. Um just trying to add Norma. Good evening guys. I was even thinking maybe I should find some struggle music and play while we wait for everyone to come. Do you have a song request, Abuti?
Struggle music.
Yes.
Why struggle music? Are you struggling?
I am struggling.
What's happening? Why are you struggling?
General nje under G for general.
No,
Guys,
no,
struggle. I
no.
want money.
You don't have to play struggle music. I can, I can do the struggle ball for you while you are busy there. You know, I can rant the whole day about chickens.
Yo, it's quite crazy. Hi, Norma.
Norma is still a
Norma's
listener.
network must
I'm
not
not.
do this to us. Our
What I don't understand is how are you expecting a listener to respond or some of her mic? Because she's still a
It's
listener.
showing speaker on my side.
Okay, I see. No, she's not yet a speaker this side. Anyway, maybe playing struggle music was not a bad idea at all.
Because we're struggling with network now. Norma's daily bread.
The thing about people of struggle music is they don't eat chicken, you see. They tend to, that's the thing. So they'll be talking things about against chicken that it won't go down well.
Kanti king, why don't they want chicken? They want to be vegan.
I don't know. And which guy do you know who sings struggle songs who eats meat?
Titombo, eh?
How? Yes, that guy. Yes, that guy will be the reason chicken is thing in anyway if it should. No ways, not Tito.
I can't even see Norma's um speakers, and she's
Um,
also not.
I've sent her a request to speak as well. Maybe she'll respond to that.
Finally.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Norma, we can hear you.
Hi, Norma. How are you? But your network is showing signs of not going well towards throughout the whole space, though.
Yeah, no, guys. Um my Wi-Fi hasn't been the greatest the last couple of days. I'm just hoping that I can stay on as long as possible.
You're sounding quite far, Norma, from your microphone.
Is it much better?
Yeah. Well, we can hear you, but yeah, it's not very strong. Are your speakers in the space already?
Yes, we've got Susie is here, mother of chickens. Susan is here as well as Terry. the Prince.
Okay, I'm just passing the mic. I'm passing the mic to them. Guys, Norma is our host today. I'm just holding the fort to make sure we don't crash because I'm off the grid. I'm playing I'm not off the grid, but I don't get load shedding.
Yeah,
I
lucky
think
you.
I think we should not waste any more time, Norma. People will catch up on the recording, just to ensure that you. I mean, two speakers is we're only one short of everyone that has been invited. So if somebody else joins late, they will just catch up because I mean we're chasing load shedding.
Actually say let's actually start the space right away because both my speakers only have limited amount of time. They've got commitments from 8 o'clock, so we only have them for a short period of time.
Okay, you can take it away, sis.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us again on Poultry Spaces. And of course, thank you to my speakers. Please, could we send an invite? Let me invite you to speak. Um, to my to Thank you so much for coming on to Poultry Spaces. I'm not sure why my mic keeps muting itself. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Norma.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I see Prince is still connecting. I'm not sure if he's showing connected on your side, but Susan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Norma, but for some time, sometimes I can't hear you. Can you hear
They
me,
actually
Norma?
both, yeah, both of them are speakers already, Norma.
Oh, they're not showing on my side. Hey, it's probably my network that's just taking forever.
Norma, I think maybe do you want to restart your router and leave and then come back so that
Perfect.
once we
So,
start we don't lose momentum?
yes, no problem. So do you mind just introducing the space in the beginning and just getting started? Let me just do that,
Okay,
so that we
okay,
don't waste time.
okay. Guys, today we're going to be talking about indigenous chicken farming and trying to know, is it a good idea to get into that type of farming? Can we go commercial in indigenous chicken farming, or not? Is it just for consumption? Is there a market for it? Do we vaccinate them? Is there a vaccination program? How do we feed them? What are the costs that are involved? When would you say maybe you'll be able to make money? Is it based on numbers as well? um all those type of questions should be answered in today's space by our two speakers. There is someone that failed at indigenous chicken farming that was invited to the space. I'm hoping he is still going to join because um the best teacher is failures. If you failed at something, then it's so much easier to teach other people or to show other people where your pitfalls were and how to avoid them. So in this space we have Susan and Prince, and I would just like Beauty Before Age to introduce themselves and where they are in indigenous chicken. And yeah, so Susan first, and then Prince can go. Good evening, Sissy.
Good evening, Sissy. Good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for the invite. My name is Susan Masingi. Um, I was born and bred in Limpopo, so I grew up in Zanini. So I grew up with my grandmother. That's where we started to do the chickens. That's why I started to learn about chickens. She had indigenous chickens. And I would normally count the eggs that they laid, and I'll tell you that some are missing because my aunt used to chow them. So I'm a founder of Painter Poultry. We do rearing of layers. specifically loam and brown. So we start them from day old till cull point. So, but now we sell eggs. Mostly we just sell eggs. I've stopped with broilers for now, which I'll resume in August due to space. But now I do have a space, so I'll definitely resume once um, everything is settled. So mostly of my experience, what I'll be talking about is what I've learned and what I could do better if I'm starting again, because definitely I will be starting maybe later this year or next year. So yeah, that's what I'll be talking about, because I nearly said no when Norma invited me, but I remember that this is my roots, this is where I started. So let me just take it away. Thank you once again.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm in the deep, deep rural area, so I don't know if my network connection is perfect.
Yes, we
I
can hear
can
you,
hear
Prince,
you.
better than Norma.
So my name is Terry. Uh, I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm in Mondoro Ngeze. I'm sure most of you guys don't know where Mondoro is. It's it's between a city called Kwekwe and Kadoma. So it's deep, deep, deep rural areas of Zimbabwe. So that's where I carry out my Roadrunner projects. I'm also into goats. I'm also into fish farming and horticulture and crop farming as well, because I need to supplement the feeds for my chickens. So basically, people know me with the Roadrunners. That's where I'm based on. My project is rooted on the Roadrunners. So I started way back. It's around 2017. That's when I started my project. So I learned the hard way to be where I am today. So hopefully today, with the few minutes that I have, I can share with you the lessons, also um, the issue of profits and the losses, and how. From my remember, I'll be talking from my experience. My own experience doesn't mean because I'm sure in this space we also have experts in the field who are more experienced than me, but probably I will be speaking from the angle of my own experiences in the learning process to be where I am today, and also how I managed to salvage a few profits and managing to expand and also to earn a living out of this poultry business, and to be specific, the Roadrunners. So hopefully in the next 10-15 minutes I can share with you um, what I have, and with your permission I can proceed.
I think Prince, just take it away, since you have limited time already, and it sounds like you've already have something that is prepared, so we can just see after your presentation or your sharing what else we feel that maybe we still have questions for.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, so there are two things that I think we need to discuss as farmers, as young farmers. There is the issue of creating or making our own peculiar, unique breeds identified to ourselves. As I can see, you're not being racist, but we don't have breeds that are for us, the blacks. Like a black South African, a black Zimbabwean say, I created this breed. We need more of that. That's number one. That I feel like we need to also tap into. We have a breed called the light Sussex, a black astrolabe, a Boschveld. We have a Jazz Giant. We have a Posh Cuckoo. We have a Highline. We have hundreds of them. But how many of us have made those breeds? It's an industry that we also need to, it's something that we need to tap into. Number two, we need to look at value addition, because we are producing um, um, these birds, and at the end of the day, you meet thousands of people coming with messages and saying, so it seems like I'm just breaking even and I can't make it even 1% profit out of the project, and I've been in the business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and I'm seemingly not making anything out of it. So how do you then make profits out of the roadrunner business? Because, for example, if you have been having an experience of keeping the broilers, you are making your profits in 5. Some they even make profits after 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. You are now having your profits. But now we are looking at producing roadrunners. If you're keeping them organically, we are looking at 16 weeks and above. If you're keeping breeds like Jazz Giant, we're looking at 22 weeks and above. I've seen some of, there is an improved black castle breed. One of my friends who is keeping it, he started picking eggs after 32 weeks. And without a strong financial base, you can't feed birds for 32 weeks without getting anything out of it. So how do we then make profits out of the roadrunner business? The problem we have, and the problem that I had myself, was to just say, being pompous, say you start being envy of people who are doing the business, and say, okay, let me start with 400 chicks, and I'll just go buy. You are not even familiar. You didn't familiarize yourself with the characteristics of the chicks. You don't even know how and when to vaccinate, or even the medicines, but you just think, oh, these are Makaya chickens, you can just keep them and let them feed anything. They can eat salsa, they can eat anything, so it will be just profits. It doesn't work like that. It's business. Now this is business. You are not just doing it anyhow. So that was the problem that I had myself, of just having more numbers, because you're looking at people who are keeping broilers. Some, they are doing what do you call this, contract farming. So you're looking at someone who has 50,000 beds and above, because those people are under contract farming. And you say to yourself, so in this roadrunner business, let me also try to reach those numbers. It's impossible. It's practically impossible. That's why you see, I don't know, my South African friends in Zimbabwe, we don't have anyone who is constantly supplying organic roadrunner meat. It's impossible, because we are looking at you feeding the birds organically, not feeding roadrunners with broiler feed. We are talking about feeding them organically, and you constantly supplying maybe one supermarket, just one supermarket, having a contract of supplying one supermarket with organic meat. You can't, because we have a lot of loopholes and a lot of shortcuts that we're taking. And at the end of the day, people are being fed with off layers, and those roadrunners fed by these commercial feeds. So the number one lesson that I got from my experience, there is a sizable, a considerable number that should work with when you are doing roadrunners. For example, myself, when I started, I had 400. After 400, I think that there's a time around 2019, I read around 4,000 beds at home. And that was my highest point, where I experienced a lot of losses. Those beds, I wasn't even vaccinating them. It was just me being boastful around the community and say, I have all these beds. I had thousands of beds, but I salvaged nothing out of that. But it was just me with pride of saying I have lots of numbers at home, but nothing was coming out of that. It was a point where, the good thing about us having these Twitter spaces and discussing is we learn from each other. That's the good thing about farming. So I reached a point where I invited a senior guy to my place. That's when I started to see and learn how you can make profits out of the roadrunner business. Because myself, I wanted to be a breeder. Like right now, I am a breeder. I breed roadrunner chicks. That's my business. So what I ended up doing is looking at the market and say, okay, I'm not producing enough on the crop farming side. Remember, number one, for you to realize profits in any chicken business, you need to marry these two, the chickens and crop farming. If you manage to do that, you will realize a lot of profits. Marry these two things. Go to the fields and farm. You know what your chickens want, so go to the ground and be dirty in the field and farm. That's number one. Imagine yourself producing tons of maize, tons of rapoko, tons of millet, all those things. Tons of sunflowers. You are just taking your produce, mix and give to your chickens. That way you would have cut almost more than half of your cost. So the problem now that we have, or as overzealous farmers, we just want to go straight into the business. And now you are going for 4, 6, 7 months forking out money in your pockets to feed the chickens. The moment you reach your third month feeding the chickens, I'm pretty sure that's when you see all these people trying to say, no roadrunners, you can't do roadrunners. It's because you are constantly forking out money feeding the birds. You didn't do your preparation well. You didn't go to the fields to farm. So number one, we need to marry these two things. We must not be lazy to go to the fields to farm. We must not be lazy. That's number one. Number two, let's not focus on exporting, or rather selling our products without adding value. Value addition is the only thing that can make us millionaires as farmers. For example, I'm sure if there are people here, most of you guys probably follow what I do on a daily basis. So what I do is, usually when I wake up in the morning, first thing is I go to the market and sell my vegetables. So I sell these vegetables at there are small canteens, some restaurants, there's some construction companies that want my vegetables on a daily basis. So I sell a one big bundle for a $1 USD. Practically, that person makes more than 25 plates out of my one bundle. That's $25. So I'll be going home saying, no, today was a good day. We have sold 50 bundles, so we have $50 in our pockets. And the person that would have bought those 50 bundles probably has made over $500 on a daily basis. You are having your broiler at home. You are selling at 5 or 6 USD. You are selling at someone who has a canteen who is going to cut 13 pieces out of that broiler and make $13 out of that. And so Terry, at some point last year, June, July, August, I was producing about 300 broilers every 5 weeks. And you are selling them, and your guys will be celebrating, we are doing a good business. We are doing a good job, but how much money is that person making out of our hard labor? So instead of us just keeping the birds and say, okay, we are going to sell these road runners for meat after 16 weeks, why can't we package them and sell them instead of selling them at $10? Why can't we package them and sell them for $20 as organic birds? We want to see them in OK. We want to see them in TM. We want to see them in Pick and Pay in the shelves for Norma or for mother of chickens. Let them be labeled mother of chickens in the shelves. People will buy. There is a market for that. But the problem that we have is we want quick money and getting nothing out of that. I'm telling you, our supplying tomatoes, onions, vegetables, and broilers, I ended up quitting doing broilers. So you just go home and start calculating how much money is this person making. So that's at the time I was supplying 10 bundles of vegetables at a certain canteen, and they would make 250 plates. I have pictures and videos. I have a friend who works there. And Terry is supplying vegetables and broilers. And you'll be saying, guys, I'm making money. That's not money. Imagine if you are the producer and you are also the person making the final product and then making it to the market. So you are just here and we are going to be millionaires after we die. because we are not concentrating on value addition to our products. That's the problem. So to myself, it doesn't make sense to be producing and producing, and you come on Twitter and people will be giving you likes and retweets as if you're making money. Retweets and likes are not money. That's the problem now. Money is on the ground. How much money are we making? So I ended up saying, okay, last year, if you saw my tweet, the last tweet of last year in December, I said in 2022, I'll be supplying Roadrunner meat. I changed that in January. And I said, it's better I eat my bears than sell them for $10. It's better I eat with my friends and have braai than sell them for $10. Imagine someone who is keeping broilers for 5 weeks. They are selling broilers. This side, they can even reach $7 after 5 weeks. And Terry is keeping broilers for 16 weeks and above and selling that Roadrunner for $10. Difference is $3. If you do your calculations very well, you're just doing donations to the communities. It doesn't add up. You are allowing your birds to roam around and trying to keep them as organic as possible. And at the end of the day, you are getting nothing out of it. So people will be saying, okay, Terry, you've been doing this business for 4 or 5 years. What have you done? What have you done? What's your profit? Okay, show us what you have invested. Show us any house that you've built out of the business. Show us any car. You are still stuck at the same point, throwing tweets every day, and nothing is coming out of that. So we need to be producers for the feeds of our beds. Number one. Number two, we need to put value on our beds. I'll go number three, which is the way I started calculating my profits. When I'm selling my Roadrunner chicks. So I abandoned the mission of selling Roadrunner meat. I abandoned the mission because it didn't make sense. So I have 6 breeds at my place, 6 breeds. I selected these breeds looking at the purposes that I want and the result that I want from them. A lesson that we get from that is that you don't necessarily have to buy any Roadrunner breed that comes from these suppliers. You need to do a research for yourself. As a farmer or as an aspiring farmer, you don't just buy anyhow. You are saying you want to do egg production. You want to produce organic eggs. And you go and select a Jersey Giant. How many eggs does it lay per week, per month, per year? And how does it perform across the seasons every year? And you are there just buying any breed anyhow. It doesn't work like that. So what I did is I selected 6 breeds. Initially there were 8, and the other 2, we ate them with my friends and family because they were not performing. I was just pompous when I bought them. So I selected 6 breeds. Number 1 is the Black Astrolop, the Kukuk, and the Croiler. These 3, I selected them mainly for egg laying purposes, especially the Black Slope and the Kukuk. The Croiler, yes, is a good layer, but Croiler for me, for myself, is a dual purpose bed because I like it on the meat side. It grows fast and it weighs heavy. So Croiler is a good layer, but at the same time, it's a dual purpose bed for me. So when I'm talking about business and say I want a bed that multiplies fast, I'll look at the Black Astrolop and the Cook. So you're saying you want to be a meat producer. It doesn't make sense to have a bed that grows big, but a bed that grows big, yet it's not good at laying eggs. You need a bed that lays eggs. That means laying more eggs, it multiplies very fast. Because remember, we're looking at making profits. So the problem that I have with the Black Astrolop now is people would come at my place and say, we want 20 beds for meat and you point them at the black customer, they say, no, this one probably, people, us black people with black magic and all, they would think probably there's something on the black bed and stuff. So what I would end up doing is I would slaughter the beds and package them and sell them as dressed beds. That's the only trick that I would use. So remember when I was saying we need to be looking at the issue of slaughtering, dressing our beds, and packaging them and send them to the market. That's the only way we can deal with people who don't want black beds because of our tradition. We are black people. We are Africans. We believe in all those things. So a black slope and a cook, they lay very well. This is according to me, from my experience. And then I had to select a jazz giant. A jazz giant for me, it's a marathon bed. It's not a top layer, but it's consistent in its performance. So it just runs marathon all year round and it grows big. And it's one of those beds when someone visits my place and say, we want roadrunner chicks. And if you show them around, the parents talk, they will start saying, we want the jazz giant. It's beautiful. The jazz giant and the light Sussex. The light Sussex mainly, I was targeting, I was looking at selling them to, there are these people, these high class people, they want just pets at their home. It performs good, but it looks nice in a green lawn and stuff. So I had to look at the light Sussex. Yes, it performs good, but for myself, that was the purpose. And it's serving that purpose very well. I sell a day-old chick, a light Sussex day-old chick at 3 USD. And if I show you the orders that I have for that breed, you'll be shocked. People love that breed. And I had to choose the 6th breed, that is the Buff Orpington. The Buff Orpington, it's a marathon bed as well, but it's prone to diseases. Buff Orpington is prone to diseases. I have a good experience. I'm now in my 6th year doing the Buff Orpington, but my experience with it, I don't know other farmers. The Buff is prone and weak to diseases. I've had so many challenges with it. So the lesson there is we don't just go and pick roadrunner breeds that we see being marketed by these suppliers. You also need to do your own research before you fall into this trap. When I started, the supplier crooked me and gave me fake roadrunners, 400 of them. I'm sure if there's someone who is doing layers, those cockerels for layers. He gave me 400 of them. So you really need to look into that. You need to learn a lesson out of that. You don't just buy. You don't just go and buy anyhow. You need to learn from that. So that's the 4 key things that I tagged. So for myself, the numbers of the birds that I have right now, they consume or they eat at least a 50 kg of feed every 3 days. So every 3 days, you are quite sure that you're going to fork out 30 US dollars to buy a bag of feed every 3 days. So my calculation is simple. I am not quite good with mathematics, but the mathematics of business, I'm very, 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 very good at that. So what I do is I just look at my beds. My expense is 30 US dollars every 3 days. I'm not yet factoring in labor. So I'll say I have 6 breeds. How many eggs are we going to put in the incubator every 3 days? So, for example, this is winter. My birds are not performing very, very well. Yes, they're performing, but not as they do in the rain season. So every 3 days, we probably incubate 400, 500 eggs in winter. So every 3 days, we are expecting to get around a minimum of 250 chicks every 3 days. So probably out of those 250 chicks, I have 50 light Sussex chicks. Remember the light Sussex I said I sell it at, if you look at my catalog, it's there on my tail. I sell it at $3. So that means I can have $150 out of the light Sussex breed every 3 days. The blacker slope I sell it $1, the cook $1. So approximately I can make around 300 every 3 days in a good season. So already I don't need calculators and balance sheets. I'm already making my own profit out of that. So what you only need to know is how much money are you using to buy the vaccines and the medicines, and how often do you buy? And you factor in labor, you factor in the feeds. That is if you are buying the feeds. Anything that comes out of those expenses is your profit. This is roadrunner breeding, not selling for meat. So if you see me thriving in the business, that's how I make my profits. If you see me driving my smoker, that's how I get to buy them, because that's how I make my profits. So you don't necessarily need the big numbers. Let's take for an example. We have 50 laying hens, 50 laying roadrunner hens. You're probably picking 40 eggs per day. 40 times 3, that's what? 120. So you are probably putting in the incubator 120 eggs every 3 days. 50 beds probably need a bag of feed in for 7, 8, 9 days. So if you're incubating 120 eggs every 3 days, you are probably getting approximately 100 chicks every 3 days. If you sell them $1 each, it means you can eat your profit twice before you meet your expense. I don't know if you get me correctly there. 6 days, you can get $200 before you buy another bag for $30. So someone in the Makayas in Kumusha there, in the deep rural areas, who is only keeping 50 beds at a small household, you can make a good living out of that. If you do your maths and if you put your maximum effort on that business. But the problem now is people are not taking farming as a job. We are doing it as a side hustle. And we assign people to do the job, not ourselves. Personally, I'm also degreed, but I had to leave my job to go back to the rural areas and do farming full time. And that's how I make my profits. So people would say, probably Terry is getting freebies from people. No, I also do my maths and make money every day. I hustle, I sell even beans, I sell my produce. If you come to my village, you will see posters on trees. Quarterly is this, quarterly beans for $1. I sell my farming produce. So that's how I make my profits. I've talked too much. I think I have to leave someone to take over. I don't know if there's anyone with a question or anything before I rush to my next commitment.
Wow, Terry, I think you gave us a wealth of knowledge. Can you guys hear me, Amanda?
Yes, 100% Norma.
You Okay, perfect. You gave us a whole lot of knowledge. I mean, you answered most questions that I would have actually asked you guys as speakers. You know, you spoke about the breeds, you spoke about I'm not sure if my network did get a bit shaky. Maybe before you go, I wanted to discuss housing, right? I saw, I follow you, I've been following you for a while. And I've seen your houses, but maybe for those that haven't followed your journey, can we just discuss the housing that is needed to raise, or to have roadrunner birds? If anyone ever looks into keeping a few, maybe it is 20 or 50 or whatever it is.
I don't know. Is it possible? Is there any way I can send pictures on a Twitter space? It's not possible, right?
You can
Yes.
tweet it and then we'll attach it to the top.
All right. So basically, in any business, what we want is to try and mitigate cost. Remember, what we want is profits. If someone can cater for us the expenses and we just enjoy profits. What I mean is, if we can try as much as we can to use cheap materials, you don't need to be fancy. You just need to have good biosecurity. No need to be fancy. It's not going to the market. We are not going to mark, or you are not on an examination. You need to make money, not take nice pictures. That's the problem that we have. I've been on my, uh, 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 I've been on these dirty, cheap structures for the past 5 years, and I've made good dollars out of them. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you for sharing that. You can see inside my forearms. It's not even that nice. It's not even. I can even share to you some of my very, very, very old pictures. You don't need. I used. I molded my own bricks myself. I went to the forest and cut my cheap wood. I came with that. The first time that I started, I used this roofing grass. That's what I used to roof my foreruns. After that, I had to change when the funds were now permitting. I had to change to use these what do you call them? These zinc sheets. That's when I had to change, not being fancy, but just trying to change and make it look a bit nice. But everything there is cheap. So you just need to make sure that you put your wall front and back 50 centimeters just to allow a free passage of wind. Um, so the back and the front has to be open because you need to allow wind to pass by. It allows to clear some of the diseases inside the foregrounds. Nothing fancy, nothing fancy. Just make sure you have your space. This is business. This is not us going on a agricultural show. We just need to make money. So just make sure you have your foreground. Just make sure your beds are safe. Your beds, you are not leaving any hole that can allow snakes to get inside, thieves to get inside. Just make a good biosecurity for the beds. That's all.
Well, thank you so much, my brother, and thank you very much for sharing the pictures. As you guys can see, the structures are very simple, very, like he said, we must use, and I always preach this, start with what you have and then make a business out of it. I think Terry, you touched on it a lot when you said people treat farming like a side business. And I think a lot of people are doing it. Not too many people are actually plunging in and actually taking the bull by its horns and saying, I'm actually going to make a living out of this, because most of us would find ways to actually make it work if a lot of us did it this way. So yeah, Amanda, I don't know if you have any comments. Susie, do you have anything to add on?
Both our speakers are leaving at 8, nah? I'm just gonna allow one person from the floor
Yes.
to ask one question. I don't know if Matt came up to ask a question or he had something else that he wanted to add, but we have three speakers, Mitch, Matt, and a white rose. So, guys, I'm only gonna give one of you guys a chance to ask Terry a question before we can let him go. And then I think that person should be Matt because he requested first. Good evening, Matt. Okay, Matt is not there. Mitch, you're not a chicken farmer. A white rose. I'm gonna give you a chance.
Hi, thank you. Look, I'm not going to be long. First of all, I wanted to say you're Tohangi, like the gift that keeps on giving, and I mean that in a good way. There's so many people that I found through following your account. It keeps leading to other people, so this is good. I think no, I'm not necessarily a farmer. I'm not looking into farming for commercial purposes. I'm looking into farming for personal consumption. But I wanted to sort of encourage you guys to please, guys, do what you need to do. Start GoFundMe. We will contribute our 10 rands here and there. So you guys can also start producing. There is a market for it. I think there's more and more of our people that really are looking for alternatives to what is available. I think there's more and more of our people who are sort of starting to wake up to the realities of what's going on, and we are looking for our own people that are producing our like food. We will support you guys. We will try. We will come get the existe like we'll take couple CIs to come to your shops. Please produce. We will support. Start GoFundMe. We'll collect our 10 rands and 20 rands and contribute until something comes up. I was just coming in to say I'm really encouraged to hear this space, the conversations that are going on in this space. And I also Denke wanted to encourage you guys that it's never easy, man, for the natives, but no, guys, keep it. It's I think it's bigger than money now. You guys making money. I think it's also just about maybe for future like food security and all of that. So I wanted to encourage and maybe sort of like plead for you guys to please do what you need to do. It's never easy on any front. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, my sister. Terry, I do have one more question, and it's in regards to vaccination of the birds. Is there a particular program that you can share, maybe on the timeline or?
Of course, of course. Let me just look for the pictures. I have pictures, or maybe when I find time, I can drop to Norma. I have some slides that I've prepared for the vaccination program. Yeah, we definitely need that. We in farming we are not stingy. We Let's not be selfish. We share knowledge and everything. You can't know everything, so we just share. And I think it's not that difficult. We share the knowledge. I'll definitely share to Norma. I'm sure Norma, you can share with the guys over there, and we move on with the business.
Thank you. Abuti Sukhang, take it away.
Thank you, Os Amanda, and greetings to everyone. My brother, thanks for that good submission. It's very informative. There's a lot to learn there. I took some nuggets. I wrote down points where you mentioned that you started by saying that we shouldn't be lazy to farm. That's very, very important. And value addition. That's also good. And yeah, man, I think I'll have to go back to the space again to listen just to take points, because you've explained quite well. There will be very little to really ask there. And I also want to say you do take nice pictures, my brother. Those are nice pictures that I'm seeing on your profile for a person who says we shouldn't take pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, but thank you very much for availing your time, because your time is very important, and coming to educate us. Thank you.
I appreciate it a lot, my brother. Thank you so much, and really, really wish you well, and good luck, babe.
All right, thank you so much. Mother of the chickens, I know that you also have limited time today. Maybe did you also want to just share from where Terry left off?
Hi, I think he shared a lot of almost everything. But one thing I can just say is that feed management it's a key, mostly when it comes to chickens, because they always facing down, which means they're always eating. So one thing I can advise those who are going into indigenous chickens is that morning and afternoons are the time that you should be opening for them to go and scavenge for their food. And when they come, you should supplement their feed, and you should definitely calculate their feed and weigh their feed. So if you manage their feed, you can definitely go commercially. Because for my side, the reason why I want to go into it, I get inquiries almost after 2 days that people want the hard bodies, and I always tell them I'm not ready. Then I thought, okay, there are chickens that you can just breed for meat, which are indigenous chickens, so I should start by giving people what they want. So which is one thing that I've been saying I should go back to the roots and start them. So one thing I learned mostly with layers, we normally say, but they are hungry, but they are hungry. But to be honest, like Prince said, it's a business. So if you don't manage the feed, which is the higher cost, definitely you're not gonna make it. Even with layers, you're not gonna make it. So feed, it's a key point. And then vaccination, you definitely need to vaccinate and not say they are just backyard chickens. You should definitely vaccinate. So following vaccination program will definitely solve a lot of problems. So that's one thing I can just submit today, because mostly Terry has covered most of the points. And what he said, mostly again, having mixed breed, because it's one thing I learned when we were doing it with my grandmother. We just had a lot of chickens, like, which I didn't know by that time the names, but I remembered we had like lots and different types of breed, which, to be honest, it doesn't really make sense if you don't check your breeding, because you need to check, are you not having the inbreeding, and also how are you crossing your breed. So it's something that farmers need to check. If you are buying the breed, check which one and which one, so that your crossbreeding is okay. The genetics, you don't really affect much of them. So it needs a lot of research. One thing I can just say is that, guys, research, research. If you need mentor, please go for mentorship. It will definitely save you a lot of money, because you are going to lose money, and then there is a market. The market is there. Like I'm saying, I'm getting inquiries almost every day with these indigenous chickens hard bodies, because black people, they consume indigenous, they consume hard bodies, they love them more than broilers. So, and it's our people, so definitely we are the market, we got them. So if we can do it right, we can go commercially. That's what I can say from my side.
Norma, are you still there? It's
Yes, I'm
actually
still
quite
here.
fun. Okay.
I'm still here. But you had your hand up not long ago. Did you was your question answered?
Yes, you did speak.
Okay, so my Wi-Fi is just a bit slow. But yeah, so is there any other questions that we're taking before we let our speakers go? I know that they have 5 minutes, or they're preparing to go.
Yeah, guys, we're opening up the floor for questions. Um, just grab the mic. I know Mitch. I don't know if you had a question or you had a statement. Guys,
Oh,
in regards
sorry,
to feed. Okay, Mitch, you here? Yes.
sorry, guys. I really don't know how I got up here. Maybe my phone automatically thinking to get me up here.
Okay,
But
no,
okay,
it's fine.
oh, okay, okay. Now that I'm here, table shaker. Now that I'm here, I love the topic. Good points by Mr. Terry. Uh, really, the hard body chickens. I don't know what we call them, but okay, the village chickens. I just call them the village chicken. I don't call them hard body, but that village chicken. You guys are very right. You're very right in terms of preserving those genetics and so forth. Because slowly here in Namibia, I can speak for Namibia. When I go to the villages, many of these traditional chickens are disappearing. Well, I'm seeing more the improved, heavier, and so forth. So it's what Mr. Terry, what you're doing. I'll say big ups to you, not just in the chickens, but also in the four-legged cattle and so forth. the traditional stuff are busy disappearing and so forth. So as you are saying, there could be a market for it, but I think also the other problem we have is farmers per se is that we sometimes we dance to the tune of our market. If those people want heavier chickens, everybody will sell their indigenous chickens, you know. Because I know the various breeds, you know, the Ovambu, the Venda, and the Kuku. We have a chicken called the Kuku here. So you are very right. But sorry, guys, I'm in the gym also. Sorry, but then yeah, there is still room to preserve those genetics because if we're not careful, we'll be seeing auctions where this traditional chicken that you used to see in your grandmother's backyard being sold for 1 million South African rand very soon. The same thing we're seeing with cattle because slowly but surely we are giving up what is traditionally ours that we inherited from our forebears because we want the better, heavier, and bigger and more beautiful looking livestock and so forth. But that all comes down to market. But I like what you're doing, Mr. Terry. Keep it up, keep it going. And the table shaker, I'm not a chicken farmer, but I might get into it one day, not now. One day when I have the patience.
Yeah, but
But thank you very
today
much.
our space is limited, Mitch. So I was giving a chance to chicken farmers. That's why. Because our speakers are going to leave soon. That's why. You know, I always give you a chance. Terry, I just had another question. In regards to mother hen, do you allow your hens to sit on your eggs or do you just pick them and put them in the incubator all the time? And is that how you would avoid incest? How do you avoid incest within your roadrunners?
Um, if you allow your hands to sit on the eggs, that means you'll be delaying your time for making money. So an incubator works well, but I did an experiment in 2020 during the lockdown. So during the lockdown, I had so many experiments because I was lonely and I was also on the verge of giving up the project. So I gave this friend of mine in the village chickens, just free chickens during the lockdown he's a friend. So I said to him, instead of you having an expense of paying the guys with incubators to incubate for you, can you just have at least 30 plus these kumusha, these Makaya chickens? So your improved breeds will be laying eggs, and these Makaya chickens will be sitting on the eggs. So they will be serving the purposes of hatching eggs only. It was very, very successful for the period of 2020 coming to 2021 until it reached a point where now the eggs were too many and these birds could not sit on them, on all of them. So it was successful to a certain point, but eventually we would need an incubator to do the job because these improved breeds, they can only show signs of sitting on the eggs probably after 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Some of them they won't even show. So they'll be laying eggs. So if you wait to say um, they will sit on the eggs, some of the eggs won't hatch. So you will make a big loss out of that. I hope I've answered you.
Yes, thank you so much. That is that's good knowledge because I do have Makaya chickens and they like sitting, but I also have improved breeds. I've crossed, I forgot the name now, and with the lawnman brown. So those ones just lay and no sitting actually. So thank you for that. Guys, do you have any more questions on the floor for Prince or for Terry before he leaves? You will never get another opportunity like this. I promise you.
And Terry is very busy, guys. Very, very busy.
Terry, in regards to incest, do I do I have to change my roosters often or how what do I do?
Yeah, now it all depends with the performance. You don't necessarily need to change for the fact of changing. You need to look at the performance. And when changing, I would recommend you to get roosters from another farmer. That's my recommendation. Not you having your own. Uh, I mean the chickens that would have bred on your farm. And I would recommend you to get from another supplier the roosters. For example, I have friends that I always do an exchange. I would go with my 20 roosters and they'll give me also 20 roosters on the same breed because I trust them. They also do pure breeds. But you don't just change for the fact of changing. You might put a young one who is very lazy and not yet experienced, or you might keep an old horse that is now losing power. For example, I have some guys that have. I was looking at my guys who I work with. They were removing some old horses just yesterday because they are not performing now. And even now, if you look at the youngsters in the same foul run, they are even outpowering them. So I've been with those guys since I started the project. So I think it's time I lay them to rest. So probably we'll look for another day where we're going to feast on them and just making sure they have a good send off because they are no longer performing at the level that we expect them to perform. So by changing, don't just change, just assess the performance. Or there is also a trick that some other farmers use. You can reboost the roosters. Some they use. I haven't done it, but I've seen a friend of mine doing it. They give pig concentrate. I think for a short period, you isolate them, the roosters, and give. I won't. I'm not advising you to do that because I don't have much knowledge, but I've seen them doing it. But personally, when a rooster is tired, I lay it to rest and put another. But I'm always having some substitutes on the bench for the job. So I wouldn't advise you to repost them. When the roosters are tired, lay them to rest and do the exchange.
Thank you so much for that. Norma, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Thank you so much, my brother Terry, for your time. I know we've probably, taken into a bit of your time, but we'll definitely be talking soon. Please do share anything that you'd like to share, you'd like me to share with everyone else. And yeah,
Yeah, but you guys across the border, you guys, you also need to share with us the breeds that you guys have. Probably we might also need one or two breeds from you guys, and also we can see how we can get them here. And also maybe if you need something from us, we can also uh send it to you guys. There's this life is too short. We need to make sure we have good things before we die. Thank you so much.
I
and we
want a
need to make
croiler from you.
money.
I want a croiler. I want croiler fertile eggs from them, please. That's what I want.
Sure. I'll make sure I give you. I'll send you the breeds that the parent stock that I have. I don't need to send a fake product to you guys. I will send to you the parent stock that I have so that you have um a familiarization with the breeds that I have or the color. Remember, Croiler has a lot of colors. You will need to see the colors that I have on the Croiler on other breeds.
Great. Thank you so much, my brother. I think because there's nobody requesting to speak, we can be able to let you go. But would just like to extend gratefulness for your time. And yeah, thank the wife in a navy blue hat between you and the teacher there. And if you can just, do your closing remarks and then yeah, I think we'll be done.
Yeah, like if you read my bio, I believe that farming is a profession of hope. I think when all is said and done, farming is going to be the only remaining industry, and we shouldn't take it as a side hustle. Let's go into it with our maximum efforts, whether which avenue that you take, whether it's goats, cattle, whatever, mushroom production, fish farming, whatever you take, just put your maximum effort on it. There is a market. There are people waiting for your product out there to buy. and it's happening. Personally, I have big dreams for this month. I'm really hoping to host a space next month and showing you guys what I've been doing this past 3 months. And I have big dreams, I have big ambitions, and I have the zeal. I have the energy to go. And if even if I get another farm or 2 farms, I'm really, really willing to go into it and farm more, because this is the industry that we want. I'm a full-time farmer now at a very, very young age, and I believe by the time I get to 40, probably I'll be a millionaire. That's my dream. Right now, I don't have thousands. I have just a few dollars. I really, really want to be a millionaire in a few years to come out of this farming business. So let's not take it lightly. Let's go into it full time. I'm not the successful farmer. In this space, there are more successful farmers than me. But let's just go into it. I'm just someone who is proud of where I am right now. So I'm a full-time farmer, just like most of you guys. Let's go into it. Let's not be shy. Let's make it look appealing and let's make it look sexy. We are the farmers. It's our job. Let's have fun in it and let's exchange ideas and let's keep winning. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you, thank you. Guys, I think we've come to the end of the space. Norma is gonna do the closing remarks. It is her show today. I just, hijacked it because her network is doing the things that it always does.
Yeah, so I think closing remarks from me is there's a world of opportunity in farming, as well as poultry farming. And as Terry expressed, we need to add value to our products. I think it's not spoken. We don't speak very loudly about that. Add value more than just saying you are selling a bunch of spinach or you are selling a bird. Add value. And that's the only way we'll actually be successful as farmers. So I think that's the most takeaway I got from today's space. And as usual, thank you so much to everybody that joins us every time on Poultry Spaces. As we grow bigger, let's share knowledge, let's come and grow together. And let's actually start farming and making a proper profession out of what is really essentially our roots, I believe. So I think from me, I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank Osamanda and Nobutu Khang for always holding the fort. Thank you so much. And all our speakers and all our listeners. But yeah, that's it from me.
About it, Tukhang?
Thank you very much. An important nugget that I'm taking with and sharing with farmers is that, guys, you heard we are going to be millionaires in this thing. That's the most important thing that I've heard. I took a lot of notes, but that one, that we're going to be millionaires, guys, don't forget that. Let's keep doing what we are doing. It's not an easy thing. It's not going to happen overnight. And like my brother said, most of us started in broilers, but eventually you will find that you need to expand to crops and vegetables and so forth, because basically that's what farming does. You end up finding yourself somewhere, where you're very much comfortable. But very important to don't forget, this is a business. We should make those millions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that joined the space. And let's not forget that in order to be a chicken farmer, you need to be able to produce your own feed. So let's get land, try to plant maize, soya, sunflower, everything that is eaten by a chicken. And your green vegetables are actually quite good for road runners. Lucerne as well. So let's not forget, we need to work hard, guys. We can't be found sleeping on the job. Because the feed costs are really just going to kill us if we do not take control of them. Thank you so much. On Tuesday next week, I forgot the date, but next week Tuesday we're having Q&A. I think we're probably going to have a Q&A where we discuss most of what is discussed in today's space, because this space has brought on so many things that I would like to share, but today is not the day. So yeah, let's meet next week, and we can just go over a conversation. Have a good evening, guys. Bye.